talking from terms of ether. Ether, because they cannot see it, because they cannot observe it, and because what we can see is only 0.5% of what all can be seen because of limitations in our vision.
0.5%.
We're only able to see 0.5% of the spectrums.
Yes. That's pretty much everything.
So
isn't it?
99.5 you can't
we can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
So within that realm of what we did see, and then on top of that add the dogmas of straight lines, God, this, that, we can't see ether, so there's no ether. So
That's
he's like,
they
Morsley or somebody did an experiment where they're trying to see the effect of ether and so on. They came out with there's no effect. So there's a theory that there's dark matter. But he's like, to be able to see the effect of ether, you have to be out of ether and inside of ether. Then only you know the difference. But we can never be out of the ether. So every time they experimented, they were always within the ether. So.
But what do you mean by every time they experimented, they were always within the ether? What does that mean?
So for example, like when they put certain thing in a vacuum chamber, and then see in vacuum what happens.
Yeah.
So in vacuum they've pulled out the air. Then they're like, okay, now in vacuum, how does this behave?
Yeah.
So for me to understand how things behave outside of the ether.
What is ether?
Ether is Akash. And in Akash, things are behaving in a certain way because ether, which we cannot see, has a structure and has certain things, and it is affecting how things behave. So they were like, they said, no, but there is no such thing as ether and that doesn't have any effect. Yes, you'll be able to only realize that if you're operating outside of ether and then inside of ether and then seeing the difference. So because they've denied the ether, so you won't be able to experiment being outside of ether. If I can experiment being outside of ether, or if I figure out a way.
And he's done that?
No, he's not. But he's like, these are the limitations of our science.
That's where spirituality begins.
Right, exactly.
The limitations where science ends is where spirituality starts.
Right, but now...
And that is what...
But for the scientists, the spirituality is talking in language which is all over the place, according to them.
Yeah, that's what Nassim Haramein said, right? The S word was forbidden.
Yeah, exactly.
If even you said the S word at a conference, they'll tell you to leave.
That's right. So the thing is, you can take the spirituality to a scientific by making it a language, a uniform language for everybody to understand. And then, let's say, so going back to the time when they said gravity, Isaac Newton, and this, these are the theories. Like, for example, the whole Pythagoras theorem is faulty. The finding out the hypotenuse of a triangle.
The square of the hypotenuse of the triangle is to some of the squares of the other two sides.
Right.
This is also another illusion, you're saying.
So what it is if I have 1 feet here and 1 feet there, okay? If I have a triangle which is 1 feet this way and 1 feet that way, A is 1 feet and B is 1 feet, what is C? So C is A square plus B square is equal to C square.
Yeah, that's the deal.
So 1 foot square is 1 foot. 1 foot square is 1 foot. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So C is square root of 2.
Yeah.
And square root of 2 is not a rational number.
It's a very disturbing number.
It's 1.414 blah 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 going to infinity.
Yes.
But then we have a clear finite line. So even Pythagoras was like, there's a fault there.
See, the thing is, I feel most of our syllabus
I called my dad and I told him, I was like, Dad.
Yeah, because most of our stuff is like, it's not updated, right?
But then
That's
my dad added to this. He said, okay, if I take something and I divide it by 3, in math it goes to 0.333333333. But in real life, I can divide something in 3 parts and it's done.
Yeah. True.
How is it in math? So there's many mistakes there.
Yeah, I mean, we can't say mistakes. I just feel that they haven't
Anomalies.
updated. Yeah, or they haven't really
They have not updated.
They've only been able to study whatever was available to them at that time, right? At that point,
No,
or
but
that
right
era.
now we're talking about
Yeah, so now that's what's happening, right?
It's not being looked at. It's not being. It's
Yeah,
not,
so it's not. It's like the syllabus that we study in school, right? We're still studying something that's not been updated.
Exactly.
So that's the
why?
whole
Because
the-
there are like these two strong forces, which is religion and science, who are like monopolizing this field, and anybody else talks differently or presents. Look, show me the equation. Show me this
Yeah,
one. Show me
yeah.
that. But if the language itself is very different now to talk about that, then the science will. You're speaking in a language that's not.
See, everything
We are
is
limited by
controlled.
language.
We are limited,
We're
but
limited by language, but then we're accepting that the science is accepting that limitation as this. But that is it.
see, it's like saying in medicine only this will be. You can only cure with this. They don't. Where you have, that's why alternate medicine is there, right? You have alternate therapies, you have so many different ways of looking at a problem. But because of the monopoly, like you said, just not science and religion, but everything, isn't it? Every aspect of the world is controlled by someone or something. So the minute there's an alternate way, the minute there's a different way of saying the same thing, the minute there's a different...
Right now, we know very clearly there's a certain order in the world.
That everyone follows.
Everybody
To
follows.
control.
Right,
To control.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the whole thing. Everything is going to be
so
controlled.
if anybody proposes an idea, talks a
They will
different
be shut
whatever-
down.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Exactly. Science, everything is like that. The whole world, we are being controlled. We are not allowed to express. We're not allowed to be creative. We're not allowed to look for new solutions. We're not, even though that possibility exists. But the thing is, because we are living in this world where there is hierarchy, there are certain way where people, if you think differently, we are living in a world where we're not allowed to think differently.
That's right.
Everything, the media, the news. Now you have science and religion. Religion, obviously, anyways, it was always there.